Thank you for watching, liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing right now. Better is relative. What is good for me is not necessarily good for you. I'm saying this is my mantra, and hopefully every geek will eventually understand this, and all those flame wars will eventually disappear into the ether. It may be connected to your Ethernet cable, the network. That's kind of where the word Ethernet came from, if you didn't realize. This ether out there. Nowhere and everywhere at the same time. So if you do not have an Android device, don't feel bad, really, because you can get one for free at a hairstyling salon, I see. Everywhere, everyone seems to be offering an Android device these days, which is nice. Although I don't know if you guys also caught the news. Apparently, someone was held up at gunpoint, or certainly at weapon point, if it was a knife, and the bad guy said, "Oh, give me your phone." And the person gave him the phone, and it was an Android device. And he said, "I don't want that. Give me money instead." If your phone is not valuable enough to be stolen, it seems to be a bigger problem. But there may be other reasons Android might not be for you, because we've talked about why Android might be good for you. It's time to talk about the other side of the equation, why it might not be the best option. So for all of Android's strengths, it does have weaknesses, and we've outlined a few of these, of course, in the article on lockergnome.com, linked in the description. Go ahead, click the link, pull up the article, and we can look at it together here. Give you a couple seconds to click that link. Thank you. Oh, share it, by the way, if you like it. Maybe you don't like it. Maybe you want to combat it. That's fine. That's what the comments thread's there for. But one of the reasons why Android may not be for you is disjointed experiences. You may have an Android device from one manufacturer and carrier here, and another Android device from another manufacturer, hardware manufacturer, that is, to clarify, and another carrier over here. And just because they're Android doesn't mean that they're really providing the same experience. The fragmentation of the Android ecosystem is it's breathtaking, and I don't mean that in a positive way. The experience is all over the map. Even when you have the same version of an Android operating system, the modifications made on one device versus another, out of the box, they could be just really not that much fun to use. Android in and of itself, much like Windows in and of itself, should run just fine if it's built with one particular configuration in mind. But once carriers and providers start layering on software and tweaks and experiences, that's where, well, you have to deal with it, unless, of course, you decide to install your own custom ROM, which is another video altogether. Just understanding, not every Android is built the same. Just because you say you have Android doesn't mean you have every potential configuration. You have one. You have a flavor of Android. It's a broad ecosystem. We've talked about it before. That's its power, but it's also its greatest weakness, because you can't count on getting the same thing that this Android user has. You can't sit there and tell me, no, I've gotten every single update that's come down the pike. Every new version that comes out, I always get it. You don't, because carriers may be holding you back. Or you have to wait for someone else to build something for you so that you can do exactly what it is that you want to do, in which case I say, well, why don't you just build one on your own? I mean, it's the power of being able to do kind of whatever you want, but that doesn't always mean that it's easy to do. You could go that path and use your Android device however you want to use it, because you feel this brings you more freedom. I don't think it does. That's my perspective. And there are many reasons you would not want Android. And you wouldn't not want Android because it's not the iPhone. That's a bad reason. Don't compare it to anything else other than what it is and what you're dealing with in and of itself. The entire ecosystem. The shortcomings of Android's ecosystem. It's its greatest strength, but it's also its greatest weakness. And I don't think any Android user would disagree with me. And anybody who would, let me ask you this. Do you have ice cream sandwich on your phone? It's ready. Do you have it? Most people won't. They may never get it on their Android device. Updates will be in question. Trust me on this. Seen it played out since Android was released. That's not going to change anytime soon unless Google puts their foot down. Anyway, just one reason you might not want to get an Android. We've listed more on the website. And by the way, I do have an Android device. Well, one here. the Kindle Fire. It's based on Android. I can run Android apps on it. I can, watch. So let me go in here. I've got the App Store, of course, but if you didn't know, if I go to More, and I haven't actually done this really, if I go to More and then Device, allow installation of applications from unknown sources. I have that off because I really don't care to do that. It's not a big deal, to me at least. So it might be a big deal for you, but don't sit there and say, no, it's not an Android device. This is an Android device. And I have it, and I paid for it with my own money. So I'm not just talking about things that I don't know. I know. $200 is a lot of money to spend on having some of the experiences I've had with this device to point. But maybe Amazon will be pushing out more software updates at some point in the future. So, is Android for you? I don't know. We have reasons why it might not be. And stay tuned for an article that would be the other side of the story. Because remember, best is relative.